The morning bell echoed through the long marble hallway of Ridgewood High as students poured in, laughing, shouting, slamming lockers. Amid all that noise, a quiet girl walked through the crowd, clutching her books to her chest like a shield. Her name was Maya Evans, 16 years old, recently transferred from another city after her father got a new job. She wore a plain white hoodie, black jeans and sneakers, her long dark hair tied neatly in a low ponytail. She didn't look weak, but she didn't look like she wanted to be noticed either. Her eyes stayed low, her steps careful, as if every sound in the hallway could explode into something dangerous. Ridgewood wasn't kind to new students, especially quiet ones. Everyone knew the kings and queens of the hall: Brody, tall and broad-shouldered, captain of the basketball team; Tara, the loud blonde cheerleader who always stood next to him; and Caleb, the joker who laughed at everyone's expense. Together they ruled with smirks, rumors, and cruel games. And the moment Brody noticed Maya walking alone by her locker, it was like a lion spotting its next prey. "Hey, new girl," he called, loud enough to make people turn. Maya froze, glancing up briefly. Her brown eyes were calm, but inside, she felt that familiar sting, the one she thought she left behind at her old school. Brody and his gang approached, smirking. "You lost or something? This ain't the library." His friends laughed. Maya quietly opened her locker, hoping they'd get bored. But Brody leaned in closer, invading her space. "Oh, she's shy," Tara mocked, tilting her head. "Maybe she can't talk." "Nah," Caleb added. "She's just too good for us." They chuckled, and a few nearby students joined in, recording on their phones like they were watching a comedy. Maya said nothing. She shut her locker softly and began to walk away. But Brody wasn't used to being ignored. "Hey!" he barked, grabbing her shoulder roughly and pushing her back against the wall. A loud thud echoed. The hallway went quiet. For a second, nobody moved. Maya's eyes lifted to meet his. Something in them changed, cold, sharp, unflinching. "Don't touch me," she said, voice calm but deadly serious. Brody smirked, trying to look tough. "Oh, I touched you, what now?" he mocked, stepping closer again. That was his mistake. In one swift motion, Maya's hand shot up, twisting his wrist sideways. A sharp crack made him yelp. He staggered back, clutching his arm. The crowd gasped. Caleb rushed forward, but Maya sidestepped and swept his leg out from under him with a clean spin kick. He hit the ground hard, groaning. Tara screamed, "What the hell is wrong with you?" As Maya turned, her expression unreadable. Brody lunged again, anger replacing his arrogance. But Maya ducked low and drove her elbow into his midsection, sending him crashing to his knees. It all happened in less than 10 seconds. The hallway that once roared with laughter was silent now. Dozens of students watched, stunned, their phones shaking as they recorded. Brody groaned, clutching his stomach, while Caleb scrambled up, humiliated. "You think you're tough," he shouted, but his voice cracked. Maya said nothing, just straightened her hoodie and picked up her fallen books. "I told you not to touch me," she said quietly, and walked away. That line echoed through the corridor like thunder after lightning. At lunch, everyone was talking about it. Clips of the fight spread across group chats within minutes. Titles like "New Girl Destros Brody" and "Ridgewood's Queen Got Knocked Off Her Throne" filled the screen. Some called her crazy, others called her brave. But Maya just sat alone at a corner table, quietly eating her lunch. Her heart still raced, but not from fear, from years of silence finally breaking. She had learned the hard way never to fight unless she had to. Her mother used to tell her, "Power isn't about showing off, it's about knowing when to use it." That lesson had saved her more than once. But she knew this wasn't over. Bullies like Brody didn't just walk away after getting embarrassed. He'd come back angrier, maybe with more people. That evening, when Maya walked home alone, she stayed alert. The autumn air was cool, the sky streaked orange and purple. Her path passed the basketball court where Brody and his crew usually hung out. She kept her head down, but she could feel eyes watching her. "Well, if it isn't the Karat freak," Caleb sneered as he stepped out from behind a fence. Brody followed, his arm in a sling, his expression burning with rage. "You think you're some kind of hero now?" he growled. "You made me look like a joke." Maya sighed softly. "I didn't make you anything," she said. "You did that yourself." That set him off. He charged forward, but Maya sidestepped again, pushing his shoulder just enough to throw him off balance. He stumbled, hitting the chain link fence with a metallic crash. Caleb swung wildly. Maya ducked, grabbed his arm, and used his momentum to flip him over her shoulder. He hit the ground groaning. Brody cursed, lunging again, but she blocked every move with precision, no wasted motion, no anger, just calm control. Finally, she disarmed him completely with a wrist lock that forced him to the ground. "Enough," she said, releasing him. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried authority. "If you keep coming after me, it won't end well." Brody glared up at her, red-faced and breathing hard. "You think you're better than me?" "No," Maya said. "I just don't need to prove anything." Then she turned and walked away again, leaving them on the cold pavement, humiliated twice in one day. That night, social media exploded again. Some students couldn't stop watching the video, others began defending Maya online. Comments poured in. Finally, someone stood up to Brody. "That girl's a legend. She's the real deal." For the first time, people weren't laughing at the quiet kid. They were respecting her. But Maya didn't care about fame. She turned off her phone and sat by her window, staring at the moonlight falling across her room. Her father knocked softly. "You okay, kiddo?" he asked. Maya smiled faintly. "Yeah, Dad, I just handled something today." He smiled back, unaware of the full story, but proud nonetheless. "I knew you would. You always do." The next morning, whispers followed her everywhere. Some kids smiled, others moved aside when she passed. Even teachers seemed more careful around her. But Maya wasn't here to be feared. She just wanted peace. Still, peace doesn't last long in a place where ego and envy rule. Tara, the cheerleader, wasn't done. She saw how Brody had been humiliated, and she blamed Maya entirely. "She thinks she's so special." Tara hissed to her friends, "Let's see how she feels when we show her who runs this school." By lunchtime, rumors started again, but this time about Maya. Lies that she'd attacked Brody unprovoked, that she was violent, that she'd been expelled from her old school for fighting. It spread fast like wildfire. Maya overheard whispers in the hallway and felt the familiar ache return. She thought people might change once they saw the truth, but they just found new ways to twist it. Still, she kept her head high, her focus calm. She remembered her mother's voice again. "Strength isn't just in your fists, Maya. It's in your silence when they expect you to scream." After school, as she left the building, she found a note taped to her locker. It said, "After practice. Backfield. Come alone." No name, but she knew who it was from. The bullies weren't done. Maya folded the paper calmly, slipped it in her pocket, and walked home, thinking, breathing, preparing. She didn't want to fight again, but she wouldn't back down either. People like Brody thrived on fear, and for once, she decided she wasn't going to give them that satisfaction. That night, she stood in her small bedroom, practicing slow movements, controlled punches, measured breathing, balance. Every move reminded her of the years her late mother trained her in self-defense. Her mother's words came back again and again. "It's not about anger, Maya. It's about protecting what's right." As she looked at her reflection, she whispered, "Tomorrow, I'll finish this. Not with violence, but with something stronger, truth." The next day, everyone was waiting. The rumor had spread that Maya was going to face Brody again at the backfield after practice. The crowd gathered like they were waiting for a show. Phones ready. Whispers floating. Brody arrived with his arm still in a sling but pride burning in his eyes. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "Neither should you," Maya replied. Tara stood behind him, smirking. "This time no teachers to save you." Maya stood still, her eyes locked on Brody. The tension was thick enough to choke the air. The crowd murmured. A teacher's voice echoed faintly from afar, but it was too late. Brody took a step forward. Maya didn't move. "I'm not here to fight you," she said, voice steady. "You want everyone to think you're strong. Fine. But real strength isn't about hurting people weaker than you. It's about being strong enough to stop." Brody hesitated, thrown off by her calm. Tara scoffed. "You're just scared." "No," Maya said softly. "I'm just done." And that was it. The silence after her words carried more power than any punch. The crowd started murmuring again, not with excitement but with realization. Brody's face twitched with shame. He looked around, everyone staring. His so-called friends backing away. For the first time he looked small, and Maya just turned and walked away, leaving him standing there in front of everyone, defeated not by fists, but by truth. As she walked off the field, a few students clapped quietly. Then more joined in. The sound grew, not loud but enough. Maya smiled faintly, her heart light for the first time in a long while. She didn't need to fight anymore. She had already won.